Alright folks, so in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about Dr. Jordan Peterson and his rise of fame on the internet. So first time I saw Dr. Jordan Peterson, I think everybody has seen that clip at this point. It's been shared so many times. So his interview on Channel 4 with Kathy Newman back in 2017, where Dr. Jordan Peterson said this.
You cited freedom of speech in that. Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
I think it was an absolute masterpiece of an interview. Although I have to say, shame on Kathy Newman. She just completely made a fool of herself. We as human beings, we will lose the ability to think if we are constantly concerned about offending people. And shortly after that interview, and I think everybody has seen his most viewed interview ever, that's with Helen Lewis, and where he ended that interview with this, where Helen Lewis asked Dr. Jordan Peterson this question: how would you like to be remembered? And he said, as someone honest.
And finally, how would you like to be remembered?
As someone honest.
I think that was the perfect answer. So Dr. Jordan Peterson, he used to be a professor. He taught at Harvard between 93 to 98, and he also spent quite a bit of time at the University of Toronto. Interestingly enough, so he didn't actually, rise to fame on the internet. It wasn't until after his retirement. And he posted some of his lecture videos on YouTube, and that's when he completely blew up in 2017. That's when his channel reached 1 million subscribers, and that's when he got interviewed by Kathy Newman. Yeah, and since I'm posting this, so this video is recorded on October 7th, I'm releasing this on October 8th. It's been 2 years since the war in the Middle East has started. So at this point, essentially Israel, they're fighting a 7th front wars. I mean, I'm not going to comment or elaborate too much on that. Also, I think there are a lot of questions needs to be asked about, what has happened on October 7th in 2023. All of that aside, so just very, very recently, some of you guys might have seen this interview with Benjamin Netanyahu and Ben Shapiro. I mean, I don't want to get myself into trouble by saying too much on this topic. Ben Shapiro is the biggest hypocrite probably in the history of humanity. And so Ben Shapiro, well, he co-founded the Daily Wire. So I believe right now their CEO is actually Caleb Robinson, and he co-founded it with Jeremy Boring. And I'm so glad that people like, Brett Cooper, I'm pretty sure she was fired from the Daily Wire along with Candace Owens. I think it's probably the best thing that's happened to those two women. So, and I'm so happy for Brett, and she's enjoying her life as a mother, and she's happily married, and she says she wants to have many more children down the road. So, yeah, honestly, I was a big fan of Dr. Jordan Peterson. Back then, I was 25. When I first saw that interview, I thought, this man's absolutely brilliant, and he's probably the most articulate human being I have ever seen. But at the time, honestly, I didn't really think about, the stuff that he was going to talk about, right? The pronouns, LGBTQ, transgenderism, and all of this, masculinity talk. But unfortunately, I think something changed within Dr. Jordan Peterson. And obviously, I saw that video from his daughter, Michaela Peterson, talking about his father's health.
And we're praying that things are headed in the right direction. He's out of the ICU. So that's the main thing. He's out of the ICU. Like I said, praise God for that. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you to everybody who's reached out.
Right now, he's in Arizona receiving medical treatment, and very glad to hear that, at least he's out of the ICU. I didn't realize that his health had deteriorated so much. But yeah, something changed within Dr. Jordan Peterson after he joined the Daily Wire. I think it was the worst decision he has ever made. I think, Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, Caleb Robinson, Daily Wire, they, how do I say it? They kind of brainwashed him. They indoctrinated him. He was groomed into this pro-Israel agenda. By the way, I don't really care about what happens in the Middle East. I got 99 problems in my life, and what happens in the Middle East is really not on my agenda. It's none of my concern. They can do whatever they want to do to each other. I mean, Ben Shapiro, he has the right to defend himself. So Ben Shapiro, he's talked so much about identity politics, DEI, all of this stuff. He's so anti-woke. But Ben Shapiro, his entire career is built on hypocrisy because all he talks about is identity politics. He talks about, so Ben Shapiro, he's born in California, and right now he lives in Florida. First of all, right, he talks a lot about, black culture as well. And Ben Shapiro, he doesn't like black people. If you're a black person, I mean, sincerely, 100%, Ben Shapiro does not like black people. He lives in Florida, so he's filthy rich, right? He probably lives in one of those gated communities where you have to probably get the place of your car scanned in order to enter these neighborhoods. And I don't know where exactly he lives, but I'm 100% certain that, the gated community that he lives in Florida is 99.9% white. There are no colored folks around. He also talks about, race doesn't matter, this doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter. And Ben Shapiro, he talks a lot about, America first. But Ben Shapiro is always Israel firstist. I mean, it's been 2 years. Even to this day, Ben Shapiro has never ever questioned, as to, what happened exactly on October 7th. And that's not the most shocking part. Moving past Ben Shapiro, I mean, if he wants to destroy Hamas so bad, right? If he wants all of this fighting in the Middle East, why doesn't he join the IDF? But he wants everybody to go to the war in the Middle East. He wants everybody to die for Israel. But all he does is sit there in front of the microphone and talks for 20 to 30 or 40 hours a week. Ben Shapiro has never done a single minute of a physical labor throughout his entire life. In fact, even just his rise to fame, if that's what you want to call it, is very, very questionable. And his relationship with Bibi Netanyahu is extremely questionable. I mean, they have a serious bromance going on. I think, he actually loves Bibi. So that is 100% not normal. And something that has absolutely shocked me since Dr. Jordan Peterson has joined the Daily Wire is that, his mannerisms has become, almost identical to Ben Shapiro. His stance on the Middle East, everybody saw that tweet from Dr. Jordan Peterson on October 7th. What did he tweet out? He tweeted out, give them hell, Netanyahu. Enough is enough. So, and the interviews he's been doing, the guests that he's inviting over, actually sitting down with Netanyahu, just having dinner, having a great chat, and smiling and laughing on the dinner table. It's very, very questionable. I don't know, man, because obviously he's not doing it for the money. Because, even before Ben Shapiro and Caleb Robinson, Jeremy Boring, Dr. Jordan Peterson, he was already well off, and he was professor at Harvard, he was professor at UFT. He was probably making at the time something like $200,000 a year. So he already has a very good pension. And he was already reported to be making something like $1 million a month from all streams of incomes combined. So he's already extremely wealthy. So I don't know, honestly, what happened to Dr. Jordan Peterson? Why would he decide to team up with someone like Ben Shapiro? And at this point, especially if you consider yourself to be a Christian, okay? I think at this point, by the way, I want to make something clear. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a Christian, certainly. But I believe that, if you guys want the Western countries to prosper, the basis of a Western civilization is 100% based on Christianity. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic or Orthodox, or if you're American, you might be an evangelical Christian, but I think it's time to separate the Judeo and the Christian part. I don't think in 2025 these two religions are actually compatible with each other. Certainly not anymore. And at this point, if you're someone who identifies as a conservative Christian, if you're still following Ben Shapiro, it's time to unfollow him on every single social media platform. And honestly, I think Ben Shapiro's entire background needs to be investigated in detail. There's something really, really sketchy about this guy. But all of that aside, I don't want to focus too much on the negatives. I'm praying for Dr. Jordan Peterson's recovery, despite everything that's happened to him at the Daily Wire. Whether he was brainwashed, who knows, blackmailed, indoctrinated. That does not take away, all of the good things that Jordan Peterson has done for humanity. I would say not just for young men, but also for young women. And it's very important. He talked about, right, why young men need to grow the hell up. I mean, young men nowadays, they're spending way too much time watching Jav. They're spending way too much time jerking off to Riley Reid. They're spending way too much time playing video games, gambling, rotting their life away, smoking weed, doing drugs, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine. And yeah, honestly, he's absolutely right. Men need to grow the hell up. And I'm just looking at the next generation of men. I'm just 100% not impressed, especially with so many of these Gen Z men. I was in school recently. I went back to college first, then university. I was there for 6 years. I'm a millennial myself, but the vast majority of my classmates, they were all Gen Zers. And you can talk about, the crisis of these, crazy feminist modern women going their own way, going insane, these boss babes, career women, these cat moms. Yeah, sure, men can just bring up all these excuses. They can blame everything on women, but men have to take 50% of responsibility as well, because there are very, very few competent men that these women can actually find in order to get married. Think about a young woman in 2025. Let's say she's 22 years old. She's fresh out of university. How many guys around her age that let's say 22, 23, 24, or even 25 are actually a husband and father material? So I would say, there are very, very few. So a lot of men need to grow the hell up. They need to stop playing so much video games. They need to stop doing drugs. And they need to actually go out there into the real world and build themselves a career so that they can provide something for their future wife. So they can actually afford to start a family and continue their legacy and continue their bloodline. But yeah, so many young men have completely given up. They couldn't care less. And of course, I've talked about this so much, right? Fall of man, fall of nuclear family, divorces. Like I said, probably most likely first week, at the latest, the second week of November, I will upload a full-length interview up to 2 hours long where I will expand on every single one of these topics. But I would just like to say this, if you're someone who's living in America, it doesn't matter if you're a liberal or conservative, it's time for you to unfollow Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. And if you're someone who's still working at the Daily Wire, someone like Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, I really, really hope that you guys will separate yourself from Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. It's time to go independent. And for Dr. Jordan Peterson and his declining health, at this point, I'm praying for your recovery, but I think it's safe to say that most likely this is probably going to be the end of Dr. Jordan Peterson's career. I just want to say thank you for all the good that you have done to humanity. Despite what has happened at Daily Wire, I do sincerely believe that he was indoctrinated and brainwashed by someone like Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring and Caleb Robinson. All of that aside, I'm praying for your recovery, and I do sincerely hope that whatever it is that you're currently going through, you will make it out of this 100% healthy. And I do sincerely hope that you will enjoy your retirement, separating yourself from Ben Shapiro and from the Daily Wire. And also, I want to thank you to everybody that has clicked on this video and watched it all through until the end. If you guys have enjoyed the contents of this video, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification button. I will see you guys back on this channel on Friday. Thank you guys.